do it again. Where did you leave off?
Welcome back. The second part of day 34.
Yeah, and I was knitting backwards on one of my rows, so I have to rip it out.
So,
Reading them at the same time.
Anyhow, we've been reading in Exodus, chapter 31, 32, and 33.
And we've heard how the Israelites became heathens just a few days into the desert after Moses was away with God. After God did so many miracles for them.
Moses was up in the mountain with the Lord for 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord gave him the 10 Commandments written on tabernacles. And then the Israelites went to Aaron and he said, "Get all your gold together and we'll make a calf." So they made a calf. But he really lied to Moses. He said he threw the gold into the fire, and the fire, what came out was a calf.
Yeah.
So they worshipped it. So anyhow, they so quickly turned away from God.
And now
we're finishing chapter 33 off.
Yes.
Moses and the glory of the Lord. And I'm starting at verse 14 here. The Lord replied, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Then Moses said to him, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth?" And the Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you, and I know you by name." Verse 18 right there.
Okay. Then Moses said, "Now show me your glory." And the Lord said, "I will cause all of my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name. The Lord in your presence, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I may have compassion." But he said, "You cannot see my face, for no one may see me alive and live." Then the Lord said, "There is a place near me where you may stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I'll remove my hand, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen." Wow, that's interesting. So now we can't wait till tomorrow to find out what happens when Moses is in a rock and God walks by. He put Moses in a rock and put his hand over it. Either it's a really big hand or it was a really little hole in the rock that Moses was in.
God is bigger than you think.
God's like the friendly giant.
May just blind him.
Yeah, like the friendly giant, Linda says. Chapter 22 of Matthew.
My age.
Verses 1 to 22.
I bet you he doesn't know what that is, a friendly giant.
I'm not sure.
See, that just tells our age.
I think of the commercial Green Giant.
No,
Green Giant.
When I was young, there was a television show called The Friendly Giant.
Yeah, for kids.
It's like
yep.
old.
I know just the saying, friendly giant. So here, the
So,
parable of the wedding banquet.
Yeah, say it loud, man.
Yeah, the parable of the wedding banquet.
Wedding banquet.
Jesus spoke to them again in the parable, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, 'Tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and fattened cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest ceased, his servants mistreated them and killed them. The king had enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned the city. Then he said to his servants, 'The wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. Go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find.' So the servants went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, both good and bad. And the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man who was not wearing wedding clothes. 'Friend,' he asked, 'how did you get in here without wedding clothes?' The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, 'Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside.'"
You wouldn't want to be a wedding crasher in those days.
Throw him outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen.
Wow.
Okay. And what verse was that, Jen?
So paying taxes.
How far
So
did
we
we
gotta
go?
go down to here.
Okay.
Paying taxes to Caesar. Then the Pharisees went out and laid plans to trap him in his words. They sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians. Teacher, they said, we know you are a man of integrity and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by men because you pay no attention to who they are. Tell us then, what is your opinion? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But Jesus, knowing their evil intent, said, you hypocrites, why are you trying to trap me? Show me the coin used for paying the tax. They brought him a denarius. And he said then, whose portrait is this? And whose inscription? Caesar's, they replied. Then he said to them, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. When they heard this, they were amazed. So they left him and went away.
I really like that passage.
Yeah.
Well, the last
Reading it
time
a
there
lot,
was
yeah.
taxes needed to be paid, he sent them to go fishing. They said to catch 2 gold coins and you pay one to your tax and keep one to spend on yourself.
I remember that. Too.
Yeah.
Now, when Francisco started reading, you had an aha thought. What was that thought?
The king was preparing the wedding feast. It was the groom's family who was preparing the feast. When did that tradition get changed? Now it's the bride's family has to pay for the wedding.
I always thought it was the man's.
What interests me is,
I guess it
He
depends
says-
on your country.
he says the feast is ready, go out and invite the people. And then they didn't come, so then he sends out an army, he steals the whole city, and then he says to the servants, go out and invite the people, the feast is ready. There was a lot of, well, they didn't
Could have
invite ways to
taken-
keep it, you know.
It would have taken days to prepare everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it if it's a king that had a major feast.
Well, some
Yeah.
cultures, a wedding goes on for like over a week, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah. Wow.
yeah. May God bless the reading of the word. Any other comments?
Well, I can't wait till tomorrow to find out what happens with Moses in a rock when God passes by and shows him his glory.
I could read it right now if you want.
Well, these guys won't hear it though till tomorrow, so.
That's just because we're not reading it.
There you go.
All right.
Well, you'll have to stay tuned and find out what happens tomorrow. It's getting exciting.
And who knows where we'll be reading from.
No, we're going to read from where we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Unless Eric turns 2 pages at once, like he did the other day.
No, but I think you meant the location, right?
Oh, where we're sitting. Oh,
Yes.
right. Oh, okay.
We tried the coffee shop last night, but it was a lot of noise,
Oh, it was so
background
noisy.
noise.
I almost think we're going to have to redo that reading. It's like that. As soon as they looked around and saw we were reading, they got noisier. Eric says, "Nah, they didn't mean it." They
And then the one before that, we were out in the wind, and I had the thing just so that it wouldn't have to be blowing on it. Of course, you're not knowing it when you're recording it, and it was terrible. Well, we hope you're patient with us, and we hope with the help of the Lord, and with
My
time, we'll
husband,
improve a lot.
says he's building me an office studio where I can shoot all these videos, but it's still in the drawing stages. Someday. He's like, yeah. God bless you.